In this video, I'm going to talk about brassies, or sometimes called brassy spoons. So brassies are essentially clubs with about lofts ranging from, let's say, 13 to 16 degrees. So that's what I would equate with a modern 3-wood, let's say. And they got their name because they would have typically a brass plate held by screws on the bottom of the sole to protect it from fairway wear. Okay, so if there's stones, gravel on the fairway, whatever, that's essentially to protect the club head. Now, if you have a let's say you only want to carry 1 wood, or you're just starting out and you just think, well, at this point in time, I'm only going to buy 1 wood or obtain 1 wood, a brassie is a great option. Now, this brassie actually has loft of 12 degrees. I've written just here on pencil. So actually, this again is something in Hickory golf that there's no hard and fast rules. And in fact, I have drivers with, let's say, even 9 degrees of loft with a full brass sole plate. And again, that's quite confusing to people who are saying, well, I thought you said, you know, they were 12 to 16. Okay, so a brassie, what to look for in a brassie? Okay, it's got to obviously have a decent shaft in it. Again, much like a driver, it's got to suit your eye. What I would do is put it down on the floor in front of you. Now, depending on what angle the club maker 100 years ago or so has fitted this shaft in, this club head, when it's sitting on the floor, let's say in the address position, could sit slightly open, or it might actually even sit slightly closed. Now, it's personal preference, and again, knowing your game, let's say, because I like a club to sit slightly open at address, even when I play modern golf. So actually, if I pick up a Hickory club and it's sitting quite closed at address, just doesn't quite gel for me. So I use something else. Okay, so it's quite important though that you try and find a club that suits your eye and your game. So what you might find with brassies is they also, some of them will have face inserts, and this also goes for drivers. This one here has a phenolic, so an early plastic face insert, and that's actually, I think, yes, a good thing for playing Hickory golf, that it protects a bit more against modern golf ball wear, let's say. This one is taking it to extremes. This is a patent design that you can see has an absolutely huge and very colourful face insert just there. But things like this are not very common. Again, if you like everything about a club but it hasn't got a face insert, it would be silly to discount it. The vast majority of woods do not have face inserts, yet there are plenty of people around the world who are skilled in mending and fixing clubs and altering them who could put a face insert in there for you. I've done this quite a few times, and as I say, there's guys who are very, very good at doing that. So you've selected your brassie. Thing also to say at this point about selecting woods is swing weight. Now, I will do a separate video on swing weights, and I will look to put a link in the comments below this video in time. But generally, modern clubs have a swing weight on what's called the logarithmic scale of D2. Now, generally, antique clubs come in lighter than modern clubs. And the simple way I can explain that is that the overall weight of the club, So you put it on a scale, how much does the actual club weigh? Will generally be higher than modern clubs, but the swing weights tend to be lower. And a swing weight is actually just the relation of how much the handle end weighs to the head, and actually I think there's what's called the fulcrum point, which is, I think it's 14 inches usually. If you want to work this out mathematically, it's how much one side weighs to another. So what this means is you shouldn't necessarily get hung up on swing weights. But if you are selecting a club, have a waggle of it, have a nice swing of it, and if you can, have a swing of another one, and just see which ones feel lighter or heavier when you swing one, and which you feel more comfortable with, okay? Typically, ladies' clubs will have a much lighter swing weight than men's clubs. But that does not mean, in my opinion, that you should discount a club with a lightweight swing weight. The great Bobby Jones had clubs of all different types of swing weights, from light to very, very heavy. And if it was good enough for him, I'm sure it'll be good enough for you. Anyway, that's all I'm going to say on Brassies. I'm going to do another video next on spoons. So in this video, I'm going to talk about spoons, which are the most lofted wooden-headed clubs in the Hickory Golf Club stable, as it were. And here's a couple. So this is a left-handed spoon that is 16 degrees of loft, which I would say is on the cusp between being a brassie and a spoon, but I would count that really a spoon. Now this one definitely is a spoon, and this is actually what's called a bulldog spoon. I don't know who invented the term bulldog. One of the club makers 100 years ago probably coined it, certainly as a marketing term, but they typically have about 19, 20, 21 degrees of loft. So traditionally a modern 5 wood, I want to say, and they would have a sole that was very cuppy, very curved. So it's great for playing just slightly off the fairway, where you've got a bit longer grass, the first cut, or into the rough even. I tend to advise people that if they for playing off the fairway, really you want a brassie with a flatter sole, probably more than a bulldog wood. But any bulldog woods I get that are in a condition that I can restore them for play, Hickory golfers across the world love them. And what you will find is they typically have very sturdy shafts, much more so than a brassie or a driver. And it's very much more for sort of the trouble wood, for punching the ball out of trouble and so on down the fairway. Okay, so that's a bulldog spoon. Most bulldogs do have face inserts, but not all. And then again, this is actually the left-handed spoon, which you can see has a much flatter sole. So much more for playing off the fairway, I would suggest. What else can I tell you about spoons? Well, there is no standard loft. As in many aspects of Hickory golf, it could be 16 degrees, anything up to, I think the most lofted, certainly fairway club I've sort of encountered has probably been about 27 degrees of loft. Now occasionally you will see something called a wooden mashie, which has 37 degrees of loft, but they're more really very rare clubs, and not really, one might say, in the wood category. They're trying to be an iron, for want of a better explanation. Okay, so that's a short video on spoons. Please consider subscribing to my channel or pressing the like button. And if you have any questions at all, you can either email me at info@timewarpgolf.com, or please put your comments below and I will answer them. Thanks for watching. Bye.